Hi everybody, Julie Quinn here. I'm going to do a quick overview of the differences in the new Grade Center. This was the beta grade grading option that was offered to faculty who are using Canvas. There was an original sort of grade group, and now there's this one. This is has been made universal, so we're all going to be using this new version of the Grade Center. And I want to give you a quick tour, how to set it up, what some of your options look like, and so on and so forth. So unlike in Blackboard, when we used to use Blackboard, you would have a button where you could create a column or create a weighted column, and then you could create these columns for each of your assignments. You'll notice I have my faculty friends who have generously let me add their name so I could use this for demonstration purposes. Here, this is where your students would appear, and then all of your assignments. You'll notice as well that I have actually additional categories because I've grouped some assignments and I've decided to weigh my assignments. And then there's the total column here. It's not much different than the previous version in Canvas. There are a few little differences that I'll show you. But overall, you should feel pretty confident in using this. And then if you used the Canvas Grade Center last semester and the other version, this is probably 85 to 90% the same. It just looks a little bit different. It's more cosmetic than anything else. Well, the first place you'll go to create a column is your assignments. And you'll notice that I have 7 different assignment features here in 3 categories. One in an attendance category, one as an assignment category, one as a presentations category. You can have labs, quizzes, papers, what have you. You can have as many as you want. And you'll notice that I went ahead and did some weighing. And the reason that I did this was I became a convert to this because instead of having each assignment worth a different point value, sometimes you don't know how many assignments you're actually going to have. You don't know how many labs you're going to get to or how many quizzes. So you can create as many quizzes as you want, have a quiz category, and the quiz category is worth 15% of your total, for example. So to create one of those columns, you'll notice each of my assignments is worth 100 points. That's going to make it so much easier for me to use my Grade Center and for everything to be consistent for both myself entering grades and my students reading their grades. So if you want to create an assignment, you can just click under the assignment tab, and we could call this lab report 1. It's going to be worth 100 points. Now, I'm going to recommend you keep everything in points, even though I love percentages. If everything's worth 100 points, it doesn't matter. It's going to enter and look the same. There's one benefit for keeping it with points that I'll show you in a minute. So I wouldn't recommend switching it to percentages. Just you have more options in the Grade Center with points. If it's an online submission, text entry, or file upload, and it's just I'm just doing a basic column for ease here. So you'll see if we go back to assignments, I created lab report 1 that got into my attendance column. Well, that's okay. You can move it around. It can now become an assignment. I published it to make sure that it was available. Now I'm going to go into my Grade Center. So in my Grade Center, you should see every assignment outside of its category, the roll call attendance, plagiarism, the papers, the final exam, the group, right? And then what you're going to see here are those different categories that I created. So you can even see how each of them together has been bundled. So for all of my attendance assignments or all of my assignments and so on. And then a grand total. Now this lab report, since it just got added, I can go ahead and drag it over right there. So you can easily drag, just like the prior version of Canvas, and unlike Blackboard, you can drag your columns. You can adjust the width. We weren't able to do that before, but we can do that now, which is really nice. Okay. And say, for example, you're doing presentations and a student doesn't have a handout. It's something they just do in class. You can quickly go in and you see I've entered in some grades, but I can enter in grades just by typing the number. So if I thought they got a good strong B, 85, B plus, 89, 100, and it's really quick and easy to add grades. But what's nice about that is when you click back in here, when you use just points and not percentages, if you used, well, let me start back. Let me switch this. If you just use percentages, you don't get all of the additional features of SpeedGrader. So that's why I say use points. If you use percentages, you just see those percentages, but you don't have any other options, easy options to go in and tinker with this. But if you go into SpeedGrader, you can then click in. You can leave those comments. just like you could in the prior version. This is the exact same as your previous version of Canvas Grade. Okay, so you can say, great job. You can attach a file, so with feedback, you can leave video feedback, and you can even leave speech recognition feedback. I'm going to click record and show you what happens. You did a really nice job on this assignment. Congratulations. So it's sort of like it recognizes speech. It doesn't really do a good job with punctuation, but you can add that. But it's really a nice option. That's that voice recognition. You could do video or audio content here, and you can attach files. Your students can also go in and add comments, and so you can have a dialogue in the Grade Center. Previous version of Canvas did this, but remember Blackboard did not. So here are the really nice benefits to using Canvas. So I'm going to go back to the grader for a minute. I'll show you another one for adding in grades. It's that quick. And if you make a mistake, you can just go in and retype over it. It's super simple, super easy. You'll notice in here how some of these columns are in pink. The reason why the pink shows up is that within my settings for this assignment, I had a due date attached to it, and the pink shows that it's late. It's just a little bit, it's shaded differently just to separate one student from the next, just like this. You'll see these little indicators. That means a student uploaded a file. This is a file with Turnitin turned on. So if you want to watch my Turnitin video, you'll see an explanation of all of that. I'll actually show you what it looks like though. So if a student submits an assignment, you can retrieve it this way by just going to a speed grader. You can leave that feedback just like before, and you can see the assignment file that the student submitted. And within this grade book, what's really nice for those of you who are humanities professors or who assign essays, that it has a quick and easy function. I snuck away there for a second. It has a quick and easy function for highlighting text. There's a lot of hyperlinks in this one, and leaving feedback. So you can say, so you can actually leave embedded feedback. But one of the problems with this in Grade Center is any of the feedback you leave in bubble comment, students cannot print out. If you come to one of my trainings, I'll be hosting the trainings every semester. I'll do one very specifically on assignments and feedback in the Grade Center. My recommendation is to use an iPad. iPad works really good with the software where if you open it in your iPad, you can write in the margins. It's handwritten, but that actually does get saved, unlike these bubbles. And then students can print out that feedback. So if they want to print out of the feedback. And of course, having students submit their assignments in here means that you will always have access to your feedback. You know, if you wrote on their assignments by hand and then passed it back to the student, you will lose all of that unless you make Xerox copies of everything. But now that students can submit essays online, it's just as easy to get those assignments and to have courtesy copies of everything. So I always have my students submit their work in Canvas. It keeps me from losing it. I'm a little disorganized when it comes to paperwork, but not when it comes to electronic submissions. Everything's in one place, and that makes it very consistent for your students. Notice here with these categories, as you change one assignment grade, or as you enter in grades, the total grade is going to change, and then the grade within that category or that grouping is going to change as well. So if we enter in 100 for all students, you'll notice that not only is the assignment column updating because the lab was part of the assignment feature, but the total column is uploading for students as well. So students can see a running score for their grades. And when students go into Student View, I want to show you something really interesting with the Grade Center that's a benefit for students. So I'm going to move out of here for a second and go to my Student View. So you can go to your own Student View and you can try this yourself. You can enter in grades for your test student, then you can go and see what it looks like for a student. And I would recommend that you do that. Within Student View, if you click on it, you should see like a little pink border here. And you go to grades, you can only see, and your students will only see the grades for their own assignments, and they'll get that really interesting feedback as well. If something was submitted late, or If you had any comments to them, the comments will appear here. Comment was actually left by a student because they can leave comments too. Please be easy on me. And it gives sort of a time and date stamp of when they left a comment. You'll notice that it looks like I've graded every assignment. Hang on one second here. Okay, so I just went back really quickly and deleted a couple of grades just so you'll notice that the assignments that don't have any grades for them, student can do what's called a what if score. So if they have empty spaces, they can go into their own grade center and they can say, what if I got an 87 on this? They'll see that their total will change. It doesn't actually enter an 87. It's just they get the opportunity to see, okay, so how can I get an A? What if I got a 97 on that assignment? Oh, they're close. They're not exactly there yet. Or what if they got a 97 on that one? Now they're at 89.5 and, fingers crossed their professor rounds up. But the Grade Center for the Student View allows them to do these what ifs, and I think it's nothing permanent. So now they can erase it and they can try it again, kind of thing. I'm going to leave Student View for a minute, and I'm going to show you a couple of other things. When you're in your grade book, you can go into a particular assignment just by clicking on it. This takes you back to the assignments feature and away from grades. But you can enter SpeedGrader here too. So SpeedGrader allows you to go student by student instead of showing the Grade Center, just viewing in this fashion. So I can click from student to student, and I could leave them their separate individualized commentary. So again, my recommendations or requirements for this, you have to create the columns in the assignment feature. I would have everything worth 100 points and then use column weighing to change the weight of an assignment. So when you come to the Grade Center, it's really easy to enter in all of those grades. If you want to leave comments for a student, all you have to do is click on this little arrow and go right into your SpeedGrader. Or you can do it if you have a small comment. Let me go back and show you that. If you have a quick comment, you don't even have to go into SpeedGrader. You just click on that expansion and you can leave a comment right there. But you don't get those opportunities to do like the audio or the speech recognition, right? So entering grades is just as easy as scrolling down and entering in your grades. If you have any questions about the weighing, take a look at my weighing video. It's in the Canvas for Nova Faculty playlist. I hope this has been quick and easy for you. If you have any questions, just set up a time for a one-on-one or come to one of my walk-in clinics or training sessions, and I look forward to working with you more on the Grade Center. Good luck.